Alrighty, so we're here with my friend Janek Pfeifer, who is an expert on sales, leadership, entrepreneur. He's working on his book. He had exits, so super happy to have him here in our podcast. And with that in mind, let's welcome him and give him the floor. So, Janek, thank you very much for being here.
Awesome, Lewis. That's some nice things to say. I definitely appreciate it. Excited to be here and add value any way that I can.
Thank you. First of all, like you were working before in a couple of things, as you mentioned. Could you share your story? Could you share what is exciting in a day-to-day basis? And we're gonna jump into other things like the
Yeah.
some of the newsletters and things like that. But let's start with the story of Janek.
Oh, sure, man. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm a small town kid from Western Kansas, which is interesting. My name has nothing to do with any of that. I'm not really sure, but long story short, I don't know. I'm that kid that was always kind of the life, the party, excited, etc. And when it came to like the adult world, I don't know that I necessarily had an idea of what I wanted to do. And so started out, found I was good at sales, and have probably sold everything you could possibly imagine. And To keep a long story short, kind of stumbled into the logistics world when I was pretty young. It was my first big boy job, and that kind of led to me starting my own logistics brokerage when I was in my early to mid 20s. And so been running that for about 15 years now, and actually sunsetted that here about a year ago, 2 years ago, and just looking for more ventures. And so honestly, I think what kind of spurred me to hop on this call with you, most people's experience, I see so many people that struggle in life that go through hard things that really are out of their control, that they didn't create. I am the opposite. Every struggle that I've ever went through was by my own dumb choices, stupid volition, and for that, I think I've always felt like I have a lot to share. I definitely have taken the harder route to learn the hard things, where a lot of times people learn from other people's mistakes. Maybe they went through trials that weren't their fault. I would say the majority of trials that I went through were my fault. And so it's led to me,
Yeah.
sharing a lot on the newsletter and stuff like that. I put out a newsletter every week, just talking about what I've learned, my experiences. It's led to me wanting to write a book, which I'd like to think is going to be published by the end of the year. So,
Nice, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. In my case, the learning about all the mistakes and in a way, like yeah, it's a mistake, but at the same time, if you don't do anything about it, or if you repeat it, that is the problem. Like you know,
yeah, that's
yeah,
real failure. Yeah.
yeah,
I,
exactly.
I I mean, I can't agree more. I think if I'm sure, I don't know, maybe it's, I think a lot of times your environment kind of dictates your reality. And so a lot of times I think everybody thinks like I do. I think that's actually a big issue in the world today is social media tends to pump in front of you everybody that agrees and thinks the same way that you do. And so a lot of times I make the assumption that my experiences and the things that I've learned, everybody else knows. But that is something that I've learned, that failure is an absolute requirement, and that's almost like a cliche at this point. But I probably err on the side of a perfectionist. I err on the side of trying to plan. And over these last 2, 3 years, I've really started to work on switching that. Where I'd rather. I'm trying to remember the saying, but it's something like it's a lot easier to guide a worker than it is to motivate a thinker. And I would definitely say I'm a thinker, but I've really tried to shift over these last couple of years where it's like I would rather just do and fail, because you're going to fail regardless. You might as well get to it so that you can get on the other side and learn some more.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I think that resonates with. I was reading this book, the T. Harv Eker, where they have the secrets of the millionaire mind, which
yeah.
is a bunch of mindset stuff. But he mentions, I think you just said it. So there's a say that he's ready, fire, and then aim. Which okay, so you correct, right? So you were saying I think I had the same issue before in which it's like yeah, plan, and then the execution. Okay, but where's like just launch, man. Like where's the dough? Like you need to you need to do the thing. So I that's something that I learned that if there's
Yeah.
anything that I can take into action and quickly have the quick wins, and it helps me in my case to trust myself later with those small things. So I commit to, okay, I need to do the things that I promised to myself
Yeah,
as well. So I think you touch on some of those things in the newsletter. I'm glad that you mentioned it, because we're going to put the link here, and that's the call to action on your LinkedIn. It's something that is very prominent on your space. So before
yeah,
sending you a message, I opened it and I was reading some of it. So you're a family man, first of all. Like
for sure.
I don't think there's one newsletter that you don't mention anything about family. So that's
Well, I
something.
think a lot of my lessons have come from there. You know what I mean? Whether it's, we were talking about perfection and all that and planning, and it's like I came to realize that perfection is very much so fear rooted. It's because you're anticipating failure and thinking that somehow reflects on you. So you have this desire, not you, but everyone has this desire to control a situation because they fear that it's going to reflect on them poorly. So perfectionism is really rooted in fear. And so I just want to be the type of person that's willing to swing. And I tell you what, family is a great place to start. Like, we're always making mistakes and learning from them. And yeah, I mean, if you realize that everybody, and I mean like everybody, has something to teach you, that you are a student in every interaction that you have by choice. You have the opportunity, I should say, to be a student in every interaction. You may think you're superior in some way, shape, or form, and I'm sure you are to everyone that you meet. But in truth, if you choose to take the student route, there's always something to learn. I don't care if it's my 6-year-old daughter, definitely my 15-year-old son, or my wife. There's always something to learn. That's for sure.
100%. I love it, and very very aligned with that. Is there any tips? Let's talk about the sales. The sales is one of one of the most important skill sets that anyone can have, that nobody teaches at school or college or
Right.
whatever, which is insane. But anyways, so what's your process like? How do you, because you said that you sold like from A to C. So I'm very
Right.
curious. Are you the type of Jordan Belfort school? Are you the type of consulting? What's your style? What you recommend approaching when selling? For instance, let's put it like a digital service
Yeah.
to a business owner.
I think everybody has probably a personality that lines up with a certain sales style, and it really honestly has to do with what you're selling as well. So I'm 16 years old. I drive across town at 3 o'clock from school, and I go to a call center, and I work from 6 to 10 o'clock at night selling credit card upgrades. And it was the most shisty, most I mean, it was horrible. And you're just calling, dialing, talking as fast as you can, trying to get people to say yes. And I was stellar at that. I was stellar to a fault. I was great at it. And but you grow up and you realize, obviously that's not beneficial for people, for one, and for two, it's not going to get you real sales down the road. And you come to realize that sales, there's the used car salesman version of sales, and then there's like the sales where you're actually filling a need. And it's hard because the company you work for, obviously a lot of times dictates the quota, it dictates the dynamic. And so a lot of times people are making choices what's best for them versus what's best for the actual consumer. And in truth, if you want a long-term business, you want a long-term sales career, if you want a long-term anything, it has to be other people focused, because your wake will follow you around. You know what I mean? And I've made so many mistakes and so many bad sales and so many different things, but it's like, does the good outweigh the bad? You know what I mean? If you aspire to be a good salesman, if you aspire to be a good person, then at the end of the day, then that's gonna supersede all the failures, all the bad choices. And that's really the goal. So when it comes to sales, it's all about relationship, and it's about knowing that what you're doing is actually filling a need. I'm looking to sell a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, where the person coming to that dealership already knows they want to buy a luxury car. And I'm describing to them why they should buy my Lamborghini over a Ferrari, versus trying to convince them to buy a car that they never were interested in buying in the first place. There's a big difference there.
Yeah, yeah. So the influence should be ethical. The influence should be aligned to exactly because selling, the influence, it's a very very powerful thing to have. So we need to make sure to use it in a way that it's going to actually benefit the user, and not otherwise. So yeah.
100%. I mean, I think at the end of the day, any sales, I mean, there's probably sales professionals out there that would argue, but in truth, like if you're in a situation where you are forcing a sale that isn't a good fit, it's just a reflection of a lack of effort on your own end and selfishness because it's like I have a quota to meet, but I haven't made the outreach to actually fulfill that quota. So I'm trying to get more out of less, which means I
Mhm.
have to make mismatches versus if I do enough exposure, then in truth, the right people will be in that sample size for you to be able to close and hit the quota that you need.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's always this one guy that he just like gets like 50% more sales of the second guy in the list, whatever. So there's we have seen that there's and maybe we can talk about AI and some of the great things that are happening. So there are tools right now that we're implementing in which we have an analyzer that can take a transcript of a sales call and then put
Hmm.
it in the system and analyze, hey, objection, win, KPIs, 1 out
Yeah,
of 10, like you have this much. So, what do you have you experienced any of that? What's your what have you done in terms of AI? What's your prediction in the future with all this crazy stuff
I don't
happening?
think you want to go down that path with me. I mean, I'll take it to the next level. Currently using a solution called Cluely, and Cluely will actually put if you know what a heads up display is, like on your car where you can see the speed, heads up display on the screen while you and I are talking, clean glass pane that I see your face through. But as it's listening to the conversation, it will actually fact check statements that you are making so I can double check what you're saying is true. It will give me follow up questions, suggestions, second and third layer questions. You can ask it questions. It will give you like a teed up synopsis of the person you're about to get on a call with. They'll pull their LinkedIn profile, tell you what their background is. I mean, it's it's actually crazy difficult to use one on one because there's no way I can actually listen to what you're saying and pay attention to what it's doing at the same time. But on a bigger call, on a conference call, it's very useful for sure. And so like yes, where do I think AI is
Wow.
going? I mean, this could eat up our whole entire call, and I don't think we want to do that. But in truth, I'm actually pretty deep in it because of the industry that I'm in, and some of the people I work with and work for. Um, I just, in truth, I think it's going. Me and my son sat down the other day, and I said we need to be very serious about focusing on limitations on how we use AI. I was listening to Simon Sinek the other day, and he was talking about how if you do not actually, if life is all about, we always talk about the journey, not the destination, right? Well, if we don't struggle to, to actually accomplish some of the things that we're doing, we're basically going to skip those parts of life. And a lot of times we think we want to skip like the struggle, but if you look at life, if you look at back at life, the best parts of life are always the struggle victory. The best stories and the best memories fall into that championship, that struggle victory versus if we're and I think the most sensitive piece for me is about communication. I'm writing a book, I write a newsletter, like those types of things. Personal communication is paramount. And what they talked about is imagine you and I having a struggle or a difficult conversation via text. And I use AI to craft a message to apologize to you, and it could sound extremely apologetic, and I'm not apologetic, and that's not a good place to be. You know what I mean? And so there's some danger there. Obviously, it kind of goes back to when we were kids, and your teacher's like, "Oh, you'll never carry a calculator around with you every day." Well, we do, right? And so that kind of negates the necessity for us to be really good at certain, mathematical stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to be careful because AI can do a lot. And I see so many people who honestly are not well versed in AI. Not that I'm some sort of professional, but I do sell it for a living, and I do believe that like they're giving advice and they have no clue what they're talking about. They have no clue what AI is capable of already. I mean, blink of an eye, 6 months, I'm not sure you're going to recognize what's going on. And so yeah, we
Yeah.
could we could talk all day on that.
The worst time for AI is today. Like
Mm,
tomorrow, it's going to be way better, and
yeah,
so on. Like you
it's
said.
true.
So yeah, there's one saying that the bigger. So this is a story that we will one day tell, and the bigger the dragon,
Hmm.
the better the hero, and
Right.
better the story
Yeah.
based on what your comments. So 100%. So we need to go through pain. We need to go through struggles. We need to go through those things so that whenever we're we're a level 9 problem solver, like a problem 5 is going to be very easy and it's not going to make me not sleep at night. But if I'm a level
Right.
3 and I have a level 5 problem, I'm not going to be waking up at 3 a.m. and not being able to sleep, which
It's so true. I
happens.
mean, it's so funny because my newsletter's pretty much evergreen in everything that I write, but the next one I kind of have teed up and I've kind of hesitated on sending because it really falls outside the norm of what I normally write about, but it is about AI and exactly what we were just talking about. And really the concept of like, you need to experience life. You need to feel the pain of a difficult conversation. You need to feel the struggle of trying to navigate your emotions and handle your words. I've talked a lot about how the way world is today, conversations are getting more and more shallow. And the reason for that is simply because people are so used to communicating online, fast, you call them tweets still, X's, I don't know, like fast conversations where everything's a bullet point and everything's a quick quip. And honestly, what drives me nuts is everything is a meme. I don't care how the depth of pain. I don't care the depth of seriousness. It takes a week before it becomes a meme and we want to make it funny. And because of that, like it's removing human emotion from the conversation and it's negating the depth of conversation. So now people are starting to interact personally that way. And what happens is that like we're in a conversation, like just get to the point. Where's my bullet point? Just get to the point. And conversations are not getting as deep as they used to get, and it's really creating shallow relationships. And so many things that I'm cognizant of and working on for sure myself.
Yeah, 100%. So one, as I was looking on your newsletters, I don't know, man. I was used to the TLDR or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe he's gonna start putting TLDR at the bottom for those that want to have like they have like maybe 5 minutes before. I see the way I see it is I use your newsletter in a way that, I have 5 minutes, I'm gonna just jump in and read one of them
Right.
for my
Hmm.
next one, and I think that's good. That's perfect for that. When there's a little bit of longer one, I get to a point. Oh man, like I want to finish this, and then I forget. But yeah,
It's a
that
lot. I mean, I've challenged myself on that, and I know I've read other people's newsletters. They are a lot of them are a lot more bullet point, a lot more shorter, for sure. But in reality, like I try to keep it around the same length every time. And I want to bring. I mean, again, it takes 3-4 minutes to read. In
yeah,
truth, it really does. And so, like, if we don't have 3 or 4 minutes, we really got to talk about that. That's how
exactly.
that's how I promote it on LinkedIn all the time. It's like if you are not doing some sort of personal growth, personal development, give yourself 4 minutes a week, you know what I
I
mean? And
know.
actually dig into something that's going to grow you, challenge you, make you better.
I know. You don't need to. I take it back. You don't need to do the LDR. Make people read it. Okay. Before we go, I would like to have a little of an idea of your book, because we are going to update the description of the. Let's say we launch the podcast.
Hmm.
We're going to have everything. We're going to have your newsletter, everything. But when you launch your book, we're going to have the link of the book as an
Love
update.
that. I appreciate that.
So can you tell us what is that you're thinking, the title, because you have it almost ready, yeah?
Yeah.
As I remember.
Basically to the publishing point and talking to a publisher now, but it's called Lead Yourself, and the general message is pretty simple. Like most people practice leading others, but they don't realize that the subtitle is you're not lead if you're not leading yourself, you're not leading anybody. And what it comes down to is like whether it's discipline or self control. It's basic broad strokes, again, evergreen material talking about how you can be better in certain aspects of your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's one of the topics, probably my favorite chapters, fear, empathy, like some of the main topics of life that people try to dance around or ignore. It really focuses on those and how to sharpen them and get better. And it's a mix of my own personal, as I mentioned, failures, but on top of that, a mix of some grander stories that kind of fall outside my purview. But it's a great opportunity to learn from and teach on.
Beautiful. So if you have a draft, I can surely read it, and it will be beneficial.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'll be listening to Jocko Willink and and try to cover the gap with him in the meanwhile. So I will thank you, Janek, for being here. Is there anything else you want to share? Super excited on airing this one. It's the I think the mindset, family, all those things are deep in my top list. Sales, so I think we're super aligned there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, yeah, man, no, I loved it, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity, and honestly, would love to do it again. I mean, there's so much we could dig into, and ultimately, love talking leadership, love talking personal growth, and I think everybody needs it, man. Like, if you don't have some sort of daily dose of it, I think that I don't know. I have a friend of mine that I work with, and I found out that he doesn't read at all, and it blew my mind. He's a great guy, and reading doesn't solve anything. I don't even want to. I heard Simon Sinek say something the other day that actually almost broke my brain, but he literally said that he has wrote more books than he has read. And I was like, and I'm sure he was being sarcastic to some degree, but at the end of the day, like, and people can learn different ways, right? Like you can listen
Yeah.
to audibles, like you can watch podcast. I mean, everybody is different for sure. But one thing I will force myself to do till the day that I die is read, because in truth, like, I don't care if I don't like it. I don't care if like it goes in one ear and out the other. Like if I'm not forcing myself uh to get better and challenging myself on a daily basis, like it's like you're doing a disservice for those that choose to not work on personal development. What happens is people like you and I actually have to work harder to make up for that. Like you've
Yeah.
been in those environments, right? You've been in those environments with people that you're like, I can't stand this person, and you have to use extra people skills and extra soft skills, and you have to work harder just to be around them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's definitely a selfish way to approach life, that's for sure.
Love it, man. And if you had to recommend one or three books, what are your top ones in terms of the mindset and
Sure. My favorite book by far is called Motivation Manifesto. It's by Brendan Burchard. He's the same guy that wrote
yeah.
High Performance Habits. It's an incredible, you will highlight the whole entire book. It is insanely good. And it definitely actually kind of falls into my writing style and kind of how I see things. So, another book that was probably my favorite book for like 15 years before I ran into that book, was a book called The Servant. And I'm not going to do the justice. I'm horrible with authors, but it's a great book. It's actually a story, but it teaches through the story about a guy whose life's falling apart, and he goes to like this monastery where these monks, a guy used to be like a huge business guru who became a monk. Kind of crazy, but the story is insanely good. And
the
the way,
James Hunter, yeah.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, I don't know, as of recent, man, like I have this rating system where it's like it gets a check mark if I read it, plus sign if it's referable, money sign if it's incredible, two money signs if it's like insane. And last year, I probably had like two or three on the list, and last year I added like four or five that are like what I would consider double money signs. But if you ever read Integrity by Henry Cloud's really good. If you haven't read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, it is insane. Like to the point where I read that book and actually almost, I think I read one book in between. I came around and reread it again. It's that good. It's very good. So
Thank you.
there's
And
five.
yeah, there's five. I love it. And with that, I think I have not read any of those. I
Are you
read
serious? Oh
other
wow.
things like Grant
Yeah,
Cardone's.
sure.
You know, it's like Grant Cardone's, Mike Calowitz,
Yeah,
D. Harvecker. Like it's kind of self development too and sales and everything, but
sure.
it's a different school. So
You
I'm
gotta
going
you
to
gotta do the motivation manifesto. I'll be really intrigued to hear your feedback on that. It's
yes,
interesting to me because it's just a book that I feel like whenever I bring it to someone, they'd never heard of it. It's super common for people to never hear of it,
yeah.
and then they read it and they're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" So it's a really good
Yeah,
book.
sounds good, man. With that,
Awesome,
I will finish this amazing episode and thanking you again. We'll be in touch for sure, and
absolutely.
keep me updated with the stuff that you're working on.
You betcha, brother. I appreciate your time, and any other way I can help, just let me know.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lewis. Have a good night.